Throughout January, as our affirmation of faith, we are hearing testimonies from our Westminster member, and Erin is going to share this morning about Learn.
As the previous elder of evangelism, one of my many privileges was to attend the Inquirer's classes, which Kate has for prospective new members. So if you have joined in the last 4 years, chances are that you've heard my faith story. Pastor Kate jokes that every class my story changes, and she'd get to hear some new tangent. But one aspect that never really changed was the part I would talk about Sunday school. I've always loved learning. It's one of the reasons I'm a Presbyterian, and it's one of the reasons I married my husband, Matt. It's definitely the reason that my children get to hear this phrase, "What can we learn from this?" Again, if you've joined in the last 4 years or you joined many years ago, you know that I have been a member here since I was a kid. And as a kid, my parents dropped me off at Sunday school almost every Sunday. Thank you to all my previous Sunday school teachers. I am no Bible scholar, though. Memorizing Bible passages wasn't really what it was about. We would talk, and I loved it, and I loved my teachers. So for a time, I did move away, and when I moved back to town, we started attending church regularly, or as regularly as raising kids will let you. But I just felt something was missing. Standing in the back of the church during worship, bouncing JoJo or Asher, trying to entertain them, wasn't really filling my spiritual cup. So I broached the idea of joining Sunday school to my husband, Matt, and he lovingly replied, "Another hour at church? We don't have the time." So I rebranded it as a great book discussion, and I brought it up during beer tasting, which is always a great time and place to listen to the Spirit. And it worked. Our pastor at the time, Sharon Gearing, gave us the green light. I even found the original email that I sent out to the congregation. It said, "Starting next Sunday, January 30th, 2011, we will be meeting to discuss the Russian novel The Brothers Karamazov by Dostoevsky. We'll discuss the first 30 pages or so and then meet every Sunday to discuss the next section, usually 20 or 30 pages at a time. We'll meet in the adult Sunday school room across from the choir room around 10 a.m. Matt and I are both very excited about rereading this book and revisiting the themes of faith and judgment that run throughout the novel. Hopefully, the cold weather and New Year will inspire you all to meet and discuss with us this great book." And people showed up, and it was awesome. Matt gave us our very first opening question to start the discussion, and eventually we started reading more at a time, 50 pages, and meeting at the normal Sunday school hour, 9:45. We had a lot to discuss, it turned out. It's in literature and stories that I find God. Jesus taught us in parables. The black and white of the 10 Commandments is only the beginning. The rest is when Moses strikes them to the ground and then asks his people, "What can we learn from this?" So in Sunday school, we've read a lot and discussed a lot, and I hope learned a lot. There's no teacher in the class. There's just the stories and the Spirit in each other. And as wonderful and as special as that is to me, the best part is going into worship and hearing the Bible passages or the hymn or the sermon echo the lessons that we discussed the previous hour. And looking over my shoulder to a fellow Sunday school mate and nodding our heads or winking our eyes and whispering, "It's just like C.S. Lewis or Victor Hugo or Ralph Ellison, or John Shelby Spong, or Tolstoy, or Christopher Moore, or Terry Pratchett said." And so for me, that's how learning leads to worship and connection and giving here at Westminster.